Hello everyone, can you hear me? First of all, I want to take a picture of you. Like, that's for my mom. She never believes that people come and hear me talk. And the worst thing is that she doesn't have a smartphone, so I have to print this and show it to her that all those people came to hear me. Someone is looking there. Okay, cool. So, as the SSID password says, third time is the charm. This is my third time that I talk in BSides Sofia, one of the two BSides that is within driving distance to me. And my talk is Beyond the Endpoint, My Adventures in API Security Research. This is the first talk that I'm doing and has no exploit, no vulnerabilities, no anything. This is an esoteric talk about my adventures in security research and how I'm gonna curse a lot. If you have an issue with that, please raise your hand. No one? Okay. So it's a trip of how the fuck I became what the fuck I am right now. Come on, change. No. He decided not to change. Give me a second. Come on. Cool. That's me. Back when my son thought that not having a lot of hair was cool, I'm the CTO at Atropos, a penetration testing firm, mostly focusing on maritime, APIs, IoT, and other triple lethal stuff. I'm an independent security researcher. My research interests are there. Drop me a follow on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X because fuck Elon Musk. And if you want to read about my research, it's on stykas.com when it's not on Atropos AI because reasons. How it all started. 7 years ago, I, together with Mike Sand, who is a really good researcher, have created TrackMageddon. It was some really small GPS devices that had no security in mind. So just by changing a number, I was able to track and follow 12 million locations, starting pawning stuff for fun. No? Okay, I'm gonna be there because my clicker is not working. What is a security research? When you're a security researcher, you can find vulnerabilities in anything. You can hope that some of them will pay bounties. Spoiler alert, most of them don't. And you can get some internet fame. Security researcher can be using threat intelligence. They could do reverse engineering, and you should have lots and lots and lots of time. This is my arbitrary categories of research. One is the dumb one, what I'm doing, API web, low-hanging fruits, HTTP knowledge, and you're looking for where the developers are cutting corners. The other one is software. You need to understand the software. You need to find where someone is cutting corners and possibly do a lot of reversing. And the third one is hardware. Is those ninja guys that you don't really understand what they're doing. You're doing assembly, you need to understand hardware, you need to understand reversing, and you need to understand a lot of things that I don't, so I'm not going to talk about them. When Persian talked to me a couple of months ago, he said, can you do a talk about if you can become a security researcher, do a whole trip of what you should do and how we can interact with them and find your internal stuff and understand everyone in here if they can be a security researcher. This is a totally absurd question and it requires a lot of thinking. No. The answer is, come on, the answer is yes. That's it. Full stop. You can all be a security researcher. No. No, you think you're lucky. How do we get started? Also, all my graphics are being ChatGPT generated because I'm bored, I'm cheap, and I wanted to see how good it is. It's currently good, but yeah. How do you get started? How did I get started? I was 13 years a developer. I became a junior, senior, lead, became a CTO, and then said, fuck all this, I don't like being a manager. I took a huge pay cut, and I never looked back. How you want to go into security researcher? Learn the basics. Get a solid understanding of computer science, look at operating systems, look at database and networks, and at least learn the web application fundamentals. Learn your tools. Your tools are the things that are going to help you, are going to find what you cannot understand, and they're going to be the extension of your hands. So familiarize with your tools. What got you here might not get you there. So if, for me, DearSearch got me somewhere, I would have to switch to Burp or FFUF or other tools. So don't get overly attached to your tools, but always learn them, and don't always follow the wave. Back in 2020, everyone was doing blockchain, and they're like, oh, that's going to be here for the next decade. Well, 4 years later, nobody really cares about blockchain. Everyone is, we need to go AI. Go with the communities. Go to conferences, BSides Sofia, BSides Athens, BSides whatever. Go to all the conferences. Follow, interact on Twitter. I said Twitter, not X. Never use X. Mastodon, Blue Sky. Find people that are close to your niche and interact with them. And you will have to use continuous learning forever. Security is ever evolving. You have to stay updated. You have to follow all the trends. And you have to keep moving if you want to succeed in this industry. This is a tricky one. I had a talk with my friend Omar in here about the whole certifications. It seems that the certification is the way to go for most of the people. It was never the way to go for me, but I'm not the typical go-to guy. So go take some certifications. If it makes you feel better, go with all the certifications that you feel like. But if you want to go on security, back in 2018, I found out that I didn't like building stuff. I liked breaking them. That's the monumental moment that I understood that I wanted to be a security researcher and not a developer, CTO, or whatever else. How do we find our targets? That's a tricky one, or isn't? Don't go around hacking random stuff. Don't break the law. I cannot stress that enough. I know that you can find the vulnerability somewhere. Don't break the law, and by don't breaking the law, I mean don't go around getting other people's data unless you know what you're doing. And if you know, if you want to be a security researcher, you will going to need a lawyer. Come on. Computers are hard, sorry. Regular research is what I do. No, that's one. Bug bounties. It's not what I do because I was lucky enough to have sold a couple of companies, so bug bounties were not a big thing for me. It can pay some money, but nowadays the scene is saturated and automated, and you will probably be disappointed unless you are really, really good in that, because most of the payments are going to go to some random people that are messing up all the payments. Regular research is what I do. You have to buy the equipment, you have to buy the IoT, you have to buy the licenses. It's rarely paid, but it could drive a lot of traffic to your company or the company that you are working for. So we're going to see later how we're going to approach that. And this is not a proper way of research, but I had to add it. It's common penetration testing. It's paid. And the third one is one of the biggest pains in the world. You might find a 0 day that you are not going to be able to publish it. And believe me, if you find a 0 day in a payment company that would pay you a couple of million for that 0 day and you just burnt it for 30K of a penetration test, it's a huge, furious moment for you. No? Come on. Build your personal brand. I cannot stress that enough. Create a blog, speak at conferences, create videos. I'm not doing videos because you see me. I'm not the best looking guy in the world. And social media is the way to go. 2 asterisks in here. 1, before you create your social media and your wave, try to become an actual hacker. Don't be just an internet hacker. Have something to show when you create the social media. And also, the number of followers is not connected directly to how good a hacker is, how good a security researcher is. One of the best security researchers that I know, a 4-time DEF CON speaker and a really good hardware hacker, has 400 followers in Twitter. I know of people who I don't respect that have hundreds of thousands of followers in Twitter. So, yeah, keep that in mind. What the personal brand will give you: increased visibility, a lot of opportunities, and unfortunately, trust and credibility. That doesn't mean that whoever has a personal brand should be credible, but this is how it works. Speaking, and this was my first talk 4.5 years ago, 2019, BSides Athens. This one is my first keynote, so I wanted to have the whole trip of a random speaker that was mostly accepted because I was also Greek, to becoming a keynote speaker, which is something big, I guess. It may not seem obvious to you, but I don't like speaking to people. I'm an introvert. Getting to speak is different than speaking to random people. The introverts are accepted in here. Of course, it's outside your comfort zone, and you have to learn to tell stories, which is also a really nice thing if you have kids, because I'm using most of my speaking to put them to sleep. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep, though. It will greatly influence your personal brand, it will enhance your reputation, and it will increase your visibility as a security researcher. Disclosure. How many of you understand Greek? No one? Okay, I'm going to use a universal word. I hope you understand it. This is the global rule of disclosure. When you're disclosing something, reports should be able to replicate the issue. You should be as detailed as possible. You should give enough time for them to fix it. You should also never be a malakas. I know that you found a huge thing and you can take over all the servers. This doesn't mean that you have to bully the person that, oh, go fix it. He will fix it. He knows that this is an issue. But be prepared for a fight. Don't be a big bounty. When you report something because you are a security researcher, not because you want money. Yeah, I get it. It would be nice if he gives you some money. And also, be prepared not to disclosure too. Couple of years ago, I have found an issue in a medical device. That medical device was not patchable. It meant that if I disclosed, I would literally be disclosing a remote kill switch for a couple of thousand people. I didn't do it because, 1, I'm okay outside of jail, and 2, I didn't want to kill people. That's for the companies, not for the people. When you're responding to a disclosure, vulnerabilities will happen. I know that you feel that your product is the best product in the world. It might be, but vulnerabilities are there and are going to happen. When someone is giving you a disclosure, they're helping you. Even if he's being a dick and he's not that good, he's helping you. Be kind, be thankful, understand that this disclosure probably made you some money because it could be a way worse sale, and give him some of them back. Don't press charges at him or force them to do illegal stuff like Uber did 4 years ago. IP. This is not the IP that you're thinking. This is the intellectual property. When you're doing some kind of intellectual property like research and everything, is anyone here in academia? Oh, there are some. Happy. I'm also somehow in academia. I see. Much like academia, don't share it. Trust the people, but verify that they should be with your research. In the scene, there is a mixed bunch. There are a lot of people that will help you. They are there to help you, but there are also a lot of people that want to get that research from you and use it in their own advantage. So be smart and always use your name. If you are in a company, never accept your company to be like, I don't know, X researcher or Z researcher. You should always say, Vangelis Stykas of X did that. If you're a company, pay the freaking researcher. Don't remove the employee's name. He found it, you paid for it. He's going to say, the researcher should say that it's under your employment, but it's him who found it. And if you make some money of it, pay for it. AI. Who's into AI? No one? Okay. The past year with ChatGPT, everyone is like that. AI took our jobs, AI took our jobs. We don't like, yeah, don't worry. Or at least worry. But adapt, use it in your advantage, have it do all the legwork. It can do a lot of things. It can do reporting. It can summarize reporting. It can get a lot of things. And also, if you are looking at ChatGPT, they're finding things that we found in the 90s, that people found in the 90s. I was a baby in the 90s. Okay. Okay, I wasn't a baby, but yeah. So find the web application stuff that were in the 90s, in the AI, and get paid by ChatGPT. A lot of people already did it. Ethics. Anyone in the field of ethics in cybersecurity? It's a really interesting field. What are the potential issues? Oh, guy. Accessing other people's data and devices. Conflict of interest, and by that I mean, if you find and hacked someone, then don't go and get paid for it to do a gig. This is a conflict of interest. Overstepping legal boundaries, this has a lot, and I mean a lot of issues. You're going as high as you get, you're going to get a lot of pressure for both government and corporate. You have to do responsible reporting, and you have to decline disclosure from time to time. Can you think of a way that we need to handle all those ethics issues? Anyone? It's again for the ethics part. Don't break the law. Again, I cannot stress that enough. You will be able to break the law really easily. If you are like me, and you want to break the law from time to time because you are a malakas, take a calculated risk. If you end up talking in DEF CON about you breaking the law, and then 3-letter agencies come talking to you, cooperate with them. I cannot stress that enough. If someone says 3 letters that you don't know, and they say, you need to talk to us, cooperate with them. Talk with them, listen to them, and then become their friend, I guess. And we're getting to the difficult part. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Back from 2020 and the pandemic and COVID and everything, a lot of people had a lot of mental health issues. You have to, if you are in the people who need who have mental health issues, you want to have someone to be there for you. If you don't have mental health issues, I was lucky enough to have a family, to have a proper grid of help, and didn't have any mental health issues. I had to be there for everyone. I could not depend only on the company well-being treats and everything and pizza and shit. I had to be there for everyone, or for the people that I liked. And this is something that I really like saying, we are all that we have. We cannot depend on anyone else other than ourselves. Why do we have the mental health issues? As I said, we have a lot of ethical dilemmas. A lot of the things that we do, like OT, like nuclear plants, like a lot of other stuff, have high stakes. Most of us had imposter syndrome from time to time, and we have to be constant vigilant for everyone else. So we have to be vigilant for ourselves. We have to be also vigilant for other people, because we are trying to defend or attack or do things for other people. And we're getting to the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome is something that we all have been there, we will be there, we were there, and we probably are there from time to time. This usually raises from new roles. Some of you are perfectionists, I'm not, and from the high expectations that we have from ourselves. How do we solve that? We need to acknowledge our feelings. We need to assess our abilities realistically. I know that I wanted to speak in DEF CON. Back in 2019, this was not a possibility that would ever happen. I had to travel the whole thing. I had to be on BSides Sofia. I had to be in a lot of things and then become a better person. I'm not good enough still, but I'm better. I need to set a realistic goal, adjust for times, and I have to stop comparing myself to others. I'm 42 now, and I'm really happy because a person called me and said, oh, can you keynote on BSides Sofia? Barack Obama, when he was 42, was the president of the United States. So, yeah, you get the point. We cannot really compare ourselves to everyone. And to close that, it's okay not to be okay. If you feel that you're not okay, please reach out. I tried to find if there was a Bulgarian line. I failed miserably because I'm not good enough, but if you have an issue, if you feel that you're not okay, if you feel that you want to hurt yourself, please reach out to someone to help. This is really, really, really basic. You should do it. And we're getting to the end. Final thoughts. Be consistent. I cannot stress that enough. You have to be consistent. I have a 3% success rate. From the 100 APIs that I look, 3.5 are vulnerable. This doesn't mean that I fail 97% of the time. This means that I success 3% of the time. Participate in whatever you see. BSides Sofia, forums, Twitter, be as participant as possible so that you can get help. Never stop learning. Learn by doing. I really like learning by doing. I don't like reading stuff. That's probably I never finished my PhD because I wanted to do stuff and I didn't like to read. And prepare for challenges. Find your niche. You cannot judge a monkey on how it swims, as you cannot judge a fish by how it gets on a tree. Once you have the niche, I have found the niche, it's the API. When you are finding it, consider your market demand. Right now, the AI, everyone wants AI. If you understand AI, it's a no-brainer. You need to go to AI. Identify your strengths, assess your interest, do what you love, and then you will love what you do. Thank you, guys.